I don't know why so many people out there are worried about 5G. Oh, because it's microwaves. Yeah, but the effect is a minute increase in what we might call background radiation. It has no real effect. But what about the virus? It's going to make you weaker when it comes down to the virus, which is just flu, but with this it will make it more dangerous. How? How? People, because of 5G, they're suffering from conditions that are related to, what is it now, radiation sickness? No. People with the virus, with the coronavirus, they're suffering from conditions, they're suffering with traits, symptoms that are the same as having radiation sickness. No, they're not. That's bullshit. But a lot of people are connecting things together and accepting poor sources because they've been informed in, well, absolutely the wrong way, I suppose. They're accepting sources that are claiming to have the scoop. See, this is similar, that is similar, but what about a whole bunch of other factors? Confirmation bias is fundamental to supporting, holding up conspiracy theories. And that's why so many people believe. They believe they have the correct information because people provided some limited information which seems to have a correlation. But correlation does not always equal causation, and correlation can be a matter of, hey, it exists, and we can select out things that also exist, and we can make some kind of pattern which really isn't there. So it relates heavily to bad pattern seeking, of course. Trying to find things that come together, things that work together. And simply, with a great many people, from what I've seen, repeating things they've read online. You know, I'm going to repeat this, and it's like, how's that true? Or I'm going to talk about coronavirus, and I'm going to say how the masks aren't necessary. But yes, if you have masks, and you have distancing, and you end up with various other criteria in place, for example, you know, the whole track and trace thing, well, you basically end up creating a series of barriers that work far better than they would if we simply had only one or two of those actual, well, values in place, those actual traits in place. So by having so many things in place, we create a series of barriers that allow society to be a lot safer, so we don't have to have a full year-long lockdown. And I mean a hard lockdown. What's going to be open? The cafes? No. What's going to be open? The pubs? No. What's going to be open? Supermarkets, but only with a few people. Massive queues. People stay at home. You're allowed out once a day for exercise or to carry out another activity. You can't go to other people's houses. How long do you want that to go on for? That's the key thing. Because we had some of that, didn't we? We had some of that. Some places are bringing that back in. Some places are suffering massively. So what we're doing to avoid it, we're doing everything we can, even if individual components like the mask aren't hugely effective. They are still effective on some level, and combined with the other aspects, the other issues, it's a very good way of proceeding in order to ensure that we do not end up needing another serious lockdown, or probably won't, and will keep cases relatively low. Thus, we'll get through this in a relatively good way. But a lot of people prefer if we simply go, nah, the virus isn't real. All right, how do you know? I read something online. Right. Or it stands to reason. Oh, that's a great argument, isn't it? It stands to reason. I could go on, but I know that I'm boring people to death with like 3.5 minutes worth of ranting. But in any case, I think it is worth pointing out that many people out there do not care about the facts. They do not care about the science. They'd rather develop conspiracy theories and link it to Brexit. Oh yeah, the place where the virus was developed, it was partially funded by the EU. And it was released. It was part of a plan. And it's to do with Brexit and Trump. It's to do with New World Order, Shadow Order. And it's like, well, how do you put all those things together? Come on. I'm going to talk about particular cases and issues, great. But then throwing it together into a grand conspiracy, a grand plot, it seems pretty ridiculous to say the least. And this is not just coming from idiots. This is coming from people I thought were relatively intelligent, relatively sane. But they've been mixing together so many different issues that they all kind of stack together and formed a kind of mesh of belief. I can't prove this, but it's connected to that, and I can support that with this selected from here, and this argument from there, and all these things coming together, and it seems to be more coherent and more supported. But you're supporting untrue things with other untrue things, and occasional facts to try and say, it is real.